Okay, here we go. We've got I versus Havoc here. This is a losers bracket match, and so the loser of this battle will be eliminated. Let's see how it goes. We do have I leading with Electivire and a Ampharos lead from Havoc. So interesting to see both players leading with electric types. Kind of interesting. Let's see how they do. Spark from Electivire does a surprisingly high amount of damage to the Ampharos. Wait. What did the Ampharos go for? Oh, okay. Actually, that was my mistake. The recording was just a little bit off. Looks like Havoc actually had led Lapras and switched into Ampharos. I was like, where's that Ampharos attack? I didn't see it. Okay. There we go. Now we're caught up. Electivire Vice Grip this time, doing about as much damage as the Spark did. And this Ampharos is going to go for a healing move in Synthesis. So that does mean that this Ampharos does not have a coverage move. And I could technically use that as an excuse to go into a ground type, but chooses not to. Stays in with Electivire versus Ampharos. I don't really like that that choice to stay in. It seems like, I mean, very clearly this Electivire is not able to do significant damage to the Ampharos. So it seems like the Ampharos should just win this because it's able to heal. Despite that, Havoc decides to switch out, and we now have Aegislash versus Electivire. It was a free switch to some degree for Havoc because I was going for a normal move over and over. Spark on the Aegislash does not get the Paralyze. Dragapult comes in, double switch there. Looks like neither of the players liked the matchup. Dragapult from Havoc, and then Corviknight comes in on this side. Havoc brings in the Ampharos on the Corviknight. Makes sense. Does not take very much damage at all. Here's the Gliscor from the I here, and I'm kind of surprised that this was kept for so long, because as soon as the synthesis was shown from the Ampharos, it clearly showed that the Gliscor destroys this Ampharos. So I'm surprised that the Gliscor didn't come in earlier. Here's Lapras to try and fight the Gliscor. Makes sense. Tentacruel coming in. Interesting that Tentacruel is the choice against Lapras, but I guess that makes sense. Getting some sludge damage, but because this Ampharos heals, has to be significant damage. Here's that Gliscor. So every time this Gliscor comes in, there's some damage coming in on the Lapras from Havoc. That could be important. Once this Lapras goes down, will Havoc have an answer for the Gliscor? Maybe, maybe not. Tentacruel doing a great job of not taking much damage from the Lapras. Goes for Bubble Beam, gets some decent damage on the Aegislash, and it seems like I here is slowly gaining a little bit of lead on Havoc. Just the way that these trades have slowly been adding up does seem like that's the case, because this Ampharos is able to come in and it is able to soak up a lot. That's a big turn right there. But every time the Ampharos came in, the Gliscor came in to match it, and that was a problem for Havoc. But Havoc noticed that and started playing a little bit more proactively and did a double into Lapras to try and get some damage of his own, which is a great play. The problem being that the Tentacruel is still fairly healthy and is eating up that Lapras damage, so it's not like he gained a whole lot of value out of it. Sludge does poison the Ampharos here. Goes for Sludge again. Ampharos switched out. Kind of interesting. So, okay. There's actually kind of a big play here, to be honest. So, what had been happening is every time the Ampharos came in, the Gliscor came in. So last time that happened, Havoc noticed that and went into Lapras to fight the Gliscor. And so I here just did a double read, predicting that Havoc was going to predict and actually stayed in and went for Sledge on the Lapras, which worked. So it's kind of crazy. Very, very high level play there. Pretty cool to see. And now this is Tentacruel against Aegislash, and the Tentacruel is doing decently in that matchup. So this Aegislash is not really a threat anymore and will go down. That'll be the first down Pokemon here. And so there's been a lot of lead up to just one kill, but that's what kind of happens in these battles very often, is it takes a really long time for the first Pokemon to die. And as soon as the first one dies, there's lots of action that happens following that. And that does seem to be what might happen here. Havoc with a healing Slurpuff. We'll see if that ends up making a difference. It is able to top itself back out. This Tentacruel is still alive. It does finally go down to a Dragon Pulse crit from Magmortar. So it's really nice for Havoc to have that's down, because that was causing a lot of problems. That Tentacruel was being very tanky and very annoying. So now that that's dead, it might be able to see Havoc come back and get some kills here. Aqua Jet from Lapras on a Corviknight switch. Not doing too much. Corviknight going for Pluck will finish off this Lapras. Magmortar coming in. Hariyama comes in to fight it. A burn would be really bad when you're switching into a fire Pokemon with a physical mon, but didn't happen here. Dragapult against Hariyama. The Hariyama stays in. Gets smacked by Dual Chop. Huge damage, but goes for Ice Fang, and that also does pretty good damage. So... oh, okay. Wants to keep the Hariyama alive. Kind of surprised to see that, but Corviknight does eat up the Dual Chop pretty well. And this Ampharos is just not able to tank very much now that it's poisoned. It's still living, but having that poison on that Ampharos just makes it so much easier to keep it low. And the Slurpuff could cause some problems. This Pluck is not doing enough, and the Slurpuff heals as well. Goes for Charm to lower the damage. Surprised to see the Gliscor stay in. I would expect a switch directly into Corviknight, but that hasn't happened yet. Electivire instead to try and fight the Slurpuff. The Slurpuff also does heal, and so does the Electivire, so we got a little bit of a healing battle going on here. Dazzling Gleam doing about half damage, so the Electivire can't win that. Goes for a Spark, which also does about half, so neither of these Pokemon are going to be able to really heal up against each other, so they will be forced to go for damage instead, and that's what happens. Does get the Paralyze on that Spark, which is really nice to have. It's a lot harder to heal up with your Pokemon if there's a chance like this one right here. 25% chance that your heal doesn't go off at all, which is what happened immediately. Makes it a lot harder to stay in and stall against something, and that does give a very nice advantage for this Electivire. The Electivire was able to heal up twice, but the Slurpuff was paralyzed twice. Pretty unlucky for Havoc, and now this Electivire can go on the offensive and try and finish off this Slurpuff. Slurpuff goes for Dazzling Gleam there, and will end up dying. So it could have gone either way, but because of that Spark Paralyze, which does have a very high paralysis chance, the Electivire was able to win that 1v1. And as we have seen, this Ampharos is mostly dead. Worth noting that the Ampharos is also going for Spark, but because Electivire is electric type, it cannot get paralyzed. So I does not need to worry about getting paralyzed on the Electivire and can just stay in against the Sparks. And it looks like Havoc is running out of steam. He had 2 healing Pokemon, and they were kind of tanky, but it looks like they're pretty much gone now, and Havoc is going to need some big firepower from this Dragapult. Dragapult goes for Healing Block there, so it looks like the Dragapult did have Heal Block, and this is a kind of a good example as to why Heal Block just actually doesn't stop healing. So that was a prediction. The only way for that play to have worked and to have generated value is if Havoc went for Heal Block and the Electivire went for a heal, but that's not what happened. Went for Heal Block and the Electivire went for an attack. So yes, the Electivire can't heal now unless it switches out, but the Dragapult is dead now. And all this Electivire has to do is switch out and then switch back in, and then it can heal again if it wants to. But it doesn't even need to, because the Electivire will just beat down this Magmortar quite simply without having to heal at all. So well played by both players. Very very dangerous, scary early game where both players are trying to slowly get a little bit of advantage, and then finally once their tank core died, they were able to really have at it. GG.